when it comes to bigger decisions,
Bigger
when
decisions
like
in the
directing
household.
the family and the future of the family, I can wholeheartedly think that men should have that final decision.
Yeah.
And
in my house, I'll tell you, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
How it works is we both come to the table on big decisions. Now, there's certain things that I don't care as much about as he does. There's certain things that he doesn't care that much about, but I do. For example, if we're going to go on a vacation, I'd be picky about the hotel, but probably not as picky about the location. So it's a give and take.
Yeah.
But every big decision that affects the family unit, we sit down and we really talk it through until we're both comfortable with that decision, and that's how it goes down. It's not a my way or the highway type of situation in my house. I would never want that, and I think there's going to be a lot of women that don't feel comfortable with that dynamic.
Yeah, I think that a lot of women get stuck up on the. I think that if you're a woman and you're married to a man, you should respect his ability to make decisions, and you should trust that he's going to make those decisions with your best interest. And I always like to say, I think that for efficiency purposes, one leader is the best way to go. When I was on the rugby team, I was a wing. So like I'm the guy that scores all the tries. And even though I score all the tries, the captain of the team is the captain because he has the most experience. Now I could be there and I could go, hey, captain, I see this guy, he's a little bit weaker. I think I could run around him. I think I could score. Maybe we should dish the ball out to me. Him being the captain and having more experience, he can say, no, I know that guy. I played against him. He's just baiting you. He's actually really good. Or he can say, you're right. Let's make that decision. So I believe that women are the neck and men are the head. So women can have a say in what direction we go, but you should trust the man to make the final decision because you trust his decision-making skills because of the results that he's shown.
What if he doesn't have on that particular issue the experience, though? What if it's about something where she's lived in a bunch of places, or she grew up in a family where X, Y, and Z happened that gives a lens that's really important, where she may be better fit to make that particular decision? Do you think that could happen?
Yeah, but I think that she can propose the decision and the man can say based on what he knows if that's a good decision or not. And he should also trust, if you got a good leader, he's also going to trust you too. So like the captain of the team, he knows that I score. He knows my capability. He knows that how much I know about the game. So if he thinks that I'm making the right decision, he's going to say, yeah, let's do that. Especially if he knows that he hasn't been, say if he wasn't paying attention to what's been going on or whatever it may be, he might say, yeah, go ahead and do it. Let's do that because that's the best. I think that would be a good decision based on what you've presented to me. But I think that when it comes to the final decision in any kind of big situation, men should make it because men tend to think more on logic instead of emotion.
So that would be the one area I think where you and I disagree a little bit. I do think that women factor in emotion more, that we're both in agreement on. But I'm a firm believer in a partnership. So
oh no, I like traditional marriage. I like husband and wife.
I want husband-wife too.
Yeah,
traditional
we ain't
in
raising
that
no
sense.
babies and
So for
it's
me,
a thing people do.
I think that there are a lot of women who, and it's interesting because it doesn't rub me wrong that you say that, because I'm also a firm believer that everyone should build the family structure that's comfortable for them. You know, if that works for you in your house, and great, you know, and if it doesn't work in my house, that's okay too. But there is a large segment of the female population that will hear that wrong. They'll want to say, well, I want to say, you know, a marriage is supposed to be a partnership. And if we're making a big decision, for example, as to where to move the family, I want to be with someone who wants me to have a say. So that's one area where we'll disagree, where I feel like that mutual respect in a relationship for me comes from an acknowledgement on both sides that each person's voice matters in those big decisions.
So like, okay. So say like, so you know PBD, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you work under PBD. If you went up to PBD and said you had an idea for something and he said he didn't want to do it because he didn't think it was a good idea, or if he said he did want to do it, you trust him to be able to make that decision, don't you?
Well, he's not technically my boss, actually. He's my partner, but that's a different dynamic. So I would always stray from comparing a marriage to a business arrangement.
Really?
That's something in business where it really depends. I mean, he's been doing this for longer than I have, and I would, in that instance, say, you know what,
Because
I'm going to give him.
trust his ability to make the decision.
I do trust him, or I wouldn't be here doing this partnership with him. But a marriage is not a business.
Why do you trust the decision? Do you trust the decision that he's going to make because you think that he knows more about it? Like he has a mind for it?
I think that I would be inclined probably to trust the decision for now,
Yeah.
and feel it out and see. And if I still feel strongly and differently in a few months, go back to that table and say, this needs to change. Here's why. Let's give it a go. And we've had actually some of those discussions and had things change. You know, oh, let her try this out. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't ever compare a marriage to a business. But go ahead.
But
continue.
I'm just saying, like, so then if we both agree that men tend to make decisions logically, while
I didn't say men though. I said, you asked me about PBD.
No, I'm just saying in general. Earlier before we agreed that
Yes.
men tend to think of things logically while women tend to think of things more emotionally. When it comes to life decisions, which person do you think is going to be more likely to make the better decision? I would agree that the logic, because of the sense of the ability to rational more, or to use rationale more, is going to have better results in the long run. That's why I think for most people, that's the best way to do it. I don't think, I mean, maybe for not everybody, I don't know how people want to do their thing.
Yeah.
But I think
it depends on the
I think it gets very
decision.
dangerous when we start to say that you should just wing it and just do what you feel, because a lot of girls are going to feel like they can make that decision because, like I said, when you're younger, you're told that you're right by everybody. But that doesn't mean that you're actually making the better decisions. And if you trust your man to be the leader because he's shown results, and I don't think that you should marry a man unless he's shown that he can be a leader and has shown results. I don't care what he's talking about. And I believe the same thing for my daughter. If you trust that man to make the decisions because you selected him as a husband, you should let him make the final decision. Now, that don't mean you can't propose something. That don't mean you can't even have a 45-55. But when it comes to the final decision, if the man is more likely to make it off rationale and experience, then I think that he should be the one that gets the final decision.
If you like the short clip, you can catch another one here, or you can catch the full episode right here.